Hi, this is Amy Hazel from Deschutes Angler Fly Shop. Today we're going to talk about tying a European sight nymphing leader. These are the materials that you'll need. You'll need 3 weights of MAXIMA, 2-tone indicator tippet rings, and fluorocarbon. You'll also need some tools. You'll need nippers, UV glue, UV light, and a measuring tape, and you'll need to know how to tie some of the basic knots. Let's start with the chameleon MAXIMA section of the nymph leader. So we're going to cut chameleon MAXIMA 20 pound, 15 pound, and 12 pound into 36-inch sections. I start by tying a perfection loop in the back of the 20 pound section. That way I always know where the heaviest section is. I then tie blood knots. I tie 2 blood knots, one from the 15 to the 20, another blood knot from the 15 to the 12, and then we get out our 2-tone indicator tippet where we're going to tie a 3rd blood knot, and that's going to be from the 12-pound MAXIMA to the 2-tone indicator tippet. The 2-tone indicator tippet, we're going to be using the pink, yellow, and pink section. So we're going to cut at the yellow section. Here I'm cutting it a little bit close, but you can cut it, give yourself a little more room to tie a knot by giving yourself more yellow. And we are now tying a blood knot from the 12-pound MAXIMA to the 2-tone indicator tippet. Tighten that down. We're going to trim those tag ends off. You can see I did not leave any yellow exposed. The pink is the only part exposed. We go to the other end of the 2-tone indicator tippet, and we're going to thread a tippet ring on. And we are going to leave the tippet ring on the swivel so that we can tie our clinch knot. Now with our clinch knot, we're going to go around 7 or 8 times. As you can see here, we want to have a lot of twists before we go back through the loop that we've created. Once we get 7 or 8 twists, we're going to go back through that loop. We're going to hold the tag end, and then we're going to pull on the main line, and we get a nice little clinch knot that will not slip. Then we can pull our tippet ring off of the swivel. We are now going to cut the 2-tone indicator tippet where the first section of pink meets the green, not the section of pink and green closest to the tippet ring, but the one closest to the MAXIMA. We're going to cut that, and we're going to quickly tie that back together using a blood knot, and we will be leaving these tag ends long. This helps us see our 2-tone indicator tippet while we're fishing. It just gives you a little more visibility on the indicator. So we're going to leave these tag ends long, do not trim them. We now want to coat each one of our knots with a UV glue, and what this does is it keeps the tiny little tag ends from snagging on the tip top of our rod as the knots go in and out of the tip of the rod. So we're going to coat each one of these knots all the way down to where the MAXIMA meets the 2-tone tippet indicator. Now the final step is that we're going to add our fluorocarbon. In this case I'm using a 5X Fluoroflex Plus from RIO. And I'm going to tie another clinch knot, 7 or 8 turns here. I'm tying that directly to the tippet ring, and this is an 8-foot section of fluorocarbon. I use an 8-footer here because I'm using an 11-foot rod, and I like to have that extra length. If you're only using a 9-foot rod, you might only want to do 6 feet of fluorocarbon tippet here. It's up to you. You can modify this any way you'd like. So again, I make many turns there. I moisten the knot, slide it down. This is not an improved clinch. This is a regular clinch knot with 7 to 8 turns, or even more if you'd like. So now we have an 8-foot section of fluorocarbon coming off of the tippet ring. We are now going to tie a triple surgeon's knot using about 24 inches of 5X tippet. So I take the 24 inches of 5X, I leave the long tag end coming down from the 8-foot section of fluorocarbon. I'm going to tie a triple surgeon's knot here, and when I'm finished, you'll see that the long tag end that comes off of the 8-foot section is going to be my dropper, where I'm going to tie my smaller nymph. The other 20 inches of this fluorocarbon is going to be the bottom of the leader, and that's where we're going to put our heaviest nymph. So there's our dropper tag, and you'll see that the other tag stands straight up. We want to cut this one off. You never want to have the dropper tag be the one that goes straight up. It'll get tangled. So that's it. That is as easy as it is to tie a European sight nymphing leader. If you have any questions, call Deschutes Angler Fly Shop. We also sell these leaders in our shop, so give us a call and we'll get you hooked up.